In the open savanna, size is supposed to settle everything. On one side, the lion, the most feared predator on the continent. On the other, the Cape buffalo, a wall of muscle and horn. It looks like a fight strength should decide. It isn't. Lions are Africa's apex social predators, relying on group coordination rather than individual strength. Survival requires a highly organized pride. A single lioness possesses immense power, yet she rarely hunts massive prey alone. Instead, the pride operates as a single tactical unit. They time their movements to the twilight hours, using the low light of dawn and dusk to mask their approach across the open grassland. In these periods of reduced visibility, cooperation is their primary weapon. Every lioness has a specific role, working in synchronization to flank, drive, and corner their target. This collective strategy transforms them from solitary hunters into an almost unstoppable force. An adult male Cape buffalo weighs nearly a ton, carrying the physical mass of a small truck. This bovine is one of Africa's legendary Big Five, a status defined by its aggressive power. A fused shield of bone protects its skull, anchoring heavy horns designed to gore a lion from shoulder to hip. Yet, their true security comes from scale. Buffalo live in highly social, fluid herds that typically number in the hundreds. In these massive groupings, individual vulnerability disappears. The herd functions as a single, watchful organism with mutual protection built into its biology. For a pride of lions, attacking this defensive system means facing an unpredictable, retaliatory force that refuses to run. The physical cost of confronting a healthy adult buffalo is simply too high. A single mistimed strike can leave a lioness with a shattered jaw or a fatal goring wound, effectively ending her ability to hunt and feed the pride. Because of this extreme risk, the predators wait. They watch the margins of the herd from the shadows, scanning for any sign of vulnerability. At the muddy water's edge, a young calf drifts away from the protective wall of adult bodies. It is a small, quiet separation, but to the watching predators, it is the signal they have been waiting for. The lionesses immediately begin their maneuver. Staying low in the parched grass, they carefully read the wind direction, ensuring their scent is carried away from the herd's keen senses. They do not rush the attack. Instead, the pride spreads wide, fanning out across the dust to cut off the calf's route back to the safety of the herd. Each lioness moves into position with silent coordination, slowly closing the escape route. The trap is set, and the distance between predator and prey shrinks to a few desperate yards. The moment the first lioness makes contact, the standard predatory script breaks. Instead of slipping silently into the predator's grip, the calf releases a sharp, broadband distress bellow. This high-frequency acoustic signal radiates across the open grassland, slicing through the low-frequency rumble of the wind and grazing herd. Typical prey animals scatter in panic when predators strike, but Cape buffalo possess a different evolutionary blueprint. The distress call triggers an immediate, convergent response. Hundreds of yards away, grazing adults halt. They do not run. Instead, they pivot toward the sound, aligning their heavy, bone-shielded heads toward the threat. This collective reorientation transforms a scattered gathering of herbivores into a singular, defensive wall. Panic flight is replaced by mobbing, a coordinated countermarch where the entire herd closes ranks and advances back toward the predators. This instinctual rescue response is a documented biological reality, most famously captured in the 2004 Battle at Kruger encounter. There, observers watched a scattered herd regroup to march directly into a lion pride, proving that the bond of the herd can instantly convert individual vulnerability into a united, aggressive front. The lead lioness leaps, locking her jaws onto the calf. The pride quickly converges, using their collective weight to drag the struggling animal toward the safety of the brush. For a few brief seconds, the hunt appears over. The predators have their prize, and the savanna's typical order seems restored. But the victory collapses in an instant. 200 buffalo charge as one massive, heavy wall. Individual hesitation dissolves as the herd surges forward. Their heavy heads are down, their bone-shielded horns pointed straight ahead like a row of lethal lances. They do not pause. They do not scatter. The ground shakes under the physical weight of nearly 200 tons of muscle. The lionesses, still gripping the calf, now face an oncoming wave of retaliatory fury. The pride remains the active attacking force, but the herd has turned into a wall of momentum, closing the distance in seconds. The leading edge of the herd collides directly with the predators. A massive lead bull, driving forward at the front of the charge, targets the nearest lioness. Lowering his head, he drives his heavy, bone-shielded horns directly into her flank. The force of the strike lifts the predator completely off the ground, tossing her through the air. Through the rising dust, the calf's mother forces her way to the front. She surges past the massive bulls, focusing entirely on the center of the struggle, where another lioness still holds her young. The mother buffalo does not halt her momentum. She slams her massive frame directly into the side of the predator, delivering a violent impact that throws the lioness completely off balance and breaks her grip. In the split second of the collision, the calf tears free. It scrambles to its feet beneath the protective canopy of adult bodies. The surrounding herd immediately closes ranks, absorbing the young animal back into the safety of the group. The escape of the calf instantly seals a tactical disaster for the pride. The lead lioness, once the orchestrator of the ambush, now stands stranded inside a tightening ring of bone and muscle. The boundary between predator and prey dissolves. While a single lioness can bring down a lone buffalo through exhaustion and strategy, she possesses no biological or tactical weapon against a unified herd of several hundred. The mobbing instinct of the herd transforms them into a singular, defensive wall. The lioness is no longer hunting. She is calculating survival. Horns lower and hooves stomp, pinning her in place. On the open savanna, the raw power of the apex predator has been completely neutralized by the overwhelming mathematics of collective defense. A momentary shift in the mass of heavy bodies creates a brief opening in the wall of horns. The pinned lioness seizes the split second, slipping through the small gap before the space closes. She bolts, keeping low to the ground, and runs hard until the dry grass completely hides her. Behind her, the intense pressure of the confrontation dissipates, and the dust begins to settle. The hunt is finished. The pride retreats into the distant shadows of the acacia trees, their coordinated attack broken by the weight of the opposition. For these apex predators, the immediate threat of severe injury makes the risk of continuing the fight far too high. If you loved this showdown, hit subscribe and join us for more wildlife drama. On the modern savanna, the equation remains unchanged. No single predator, no matter how formidable, can break a united front. The apex of power isn't a solitary claw, it is the shield of the herd. Subscribe for more untold stories of survival,